I can remember being 15 years old and feeling different than everybody in my family. Like, no one made money. My dad, at a really early age, I equated that hard work had nothing to do with success. My dad worked his ass off, and he was broker than shit.
What did Dad do?
Cars. Collision shop.
Collision.
And he worked hard, got up early, paint under his nails, sick some days from painting and fumes. So I realized at a really young age that working hard had nothing to do with being successful. And then I recognized people in my town that were wealthy. That's why I went into real estate. There was a couple guys, one's Joey Noto and Dominic Affuso. It was two Italian guys in my town. I grew up in a town in upstate New York. Everybody was Italian. I grew up, I thought everybody was Italian.
Everybody in the world was, right?
Yeah, so, but I watched those guys, and they just were a little different than everybody else. They seemed happier, they had more freedom, they were jovial, and I watched my dad work so hard. So I think something's triggered at a really young age, but I remember feeling alone in my thoughts. You know, I had an uncle that was somewhat successful, lived in Connecticut, and he's like, if you don't go to college, if you're not getting good grades, Dean, then I think you should start thinking that you'll probably be a mechanic like your dad, and you should get good at that craft.
Whoa.
It's like, and I remember thinking like deflated. So I think being on social media, I'm getting so many, because like you said, I just started putting attention on social media the last 8 months. I'm getting so many kids with that same feeling, but now they have an outlet.
Yeah.
But just real quick, my story, I wanted to tell you the feeling. So I could say I was broke, I lived in a trailer park, all that stuff was true. I had dyslexia, I didn't go past high school, I barely got out of high school, and I knew I wasn't going to college. But I realized at a young age that, and somewhat being naive, right, before the world told you no so many times, that I wanted to break out of watching my parents struggle, watching all my family struggle. Again, it doesn't matter where you are, if your surroundings feel complacent, if they feel okay, if they feel good and you want amazing, you got to break through. And I was just lucky enough to just stay persistent. I wasn't afraid to fail. I didn't doubt myself, even though I didn't have the education, the money.
But you started to go down the road, didn't you? You ended up in the collision shop with your dad, right?
I did.
Like it ended up being you and your dad's shop.
I went back to the woman who my dad was renting the collision shop for. She was an Italian lady. I had dinner with her about 3 Sundays in a row. The 4th Sunday, I asked her if she'd sell me the collision shop my dad lost, and she sold it to me with no money down and a hug. Swear to God on my life. Like there's little angels in your life. Like I say it now, I could get emotional. Mary LaPresti, she's not alive anymore.
God bless
her. She sold me the building with no money down, and she didn't like my dad. She didn't. They fought all the time. And she said, I've always seen something in you. And she goes, I love you. I know this is weird. And I'm like, oh my, it was like an adopted, I got goosebumps.
You do?
And she gave me the building with no money down. I moved in. I started Dean Collision Shop.
Oh, hey.
And within 2 years, we were thriving. I got enterprise rent-a-car account. I bought 2 tow trucks. And then 2 years later, I asked my dad to come back and be my 25% partner.
My gosh,
and that was the start of that. And then I got into real estate. We all got in business for different reasons.
Yeah.
I wanted to be successful because I hated not being in control of my life as a kid. My parents were married 9 times. Between the 2 of them, I moved 20 times.
9 times.
9 times. So never stability. Getting a new house, you got to leave. Go here, leave. Move in with grandma. So I think I hated the insecurity of my childhood, but it was my driving force. So thank you, God, the universe, whatever you believe in. Thank you for that, because it pushed me to go. Hey, I don't know about you. You and I hit it off in the first 3 minutes we were talking, but I'm not a control freak, but I don't want anybody to ever tell me how to live,
Me too.
how to dress, what to wear. If I want to wear orange sneakers today, I want to wear orange sneakers. I live where I want. I raise my kids the way I want. I don't get into peer pressure. I don't hang out with the Joneses or try to impress the Joneses. I just want to live my life. But I know that happened at a really young age. So backing up with your question is, that drove me. So sometimes you need pain to drive you, and then you start being successful, then you can go to aspirational. Now I want to be a better dad, be a better man, be a better human. But if you need pain to drive you, let it drive you.
Great point. Totally agree.
So that's the first part. Let the pain, and the thing is, don't ignore the pain. Let it seep into where it really disturbs you. Action comes from being disturbed. You don't move until you're uncomfortable. You don't put the air conditioner on until you're hot. You don't go to the next level until you feel the pain. So feel it. So anyway, I felt that, and when I first started, all I wanted to do was get out of that. I wanted to sell a lot of cars, fix a lot of houses, and when I got in the infomercial business, I wanted to help people, but I really wanted to create a business that made me money. I mean, I'd love to say I'm Mother Teresa, I'm not.
You might as well play big Because you say something so powerful about this. Elaborate on this. The stress level's kind of the same when you're playing for something small, or if you're going for something big. People think, man, I don't want to go for the big old thing because the stress. It's actually the same stress.
No,
so would you elaborate on that? I love how you say it.
No, it's like if you want more success, get bigger problems.
It's so true.
As simple as that sounds, and like, oh, Dean, that was so enlightening. No, it is. Because this is simple, the lowest form. Like, I've just started realizing I want bigger problems because I remember the stress of my first real estate deal where I made probably $5,000.
Yeah.
Right? Worked my ass off, was stressing, worried. The town didn't want to give me a permit, then the seller was falling through and I was running out of money. It was so stressful. And then I remember, a couple months ago, I signed a $18 million deal. And there was the same exact amount of stress. It doesn't matter. And again, I say that, I said I judge myself. I don't ever want to come across pretentious or saying, oh, look at me with my $18 million deal. I don't mean that. I just want you to know that the stress you feel to pay your bills or get ahead, or it's the same stress whether you're making 10, 100, 10 million, or 100 million a year. It feels the same. So if it feels the same, then why not avoid lower end problems so you can spend time solving bigger ones? So for me, confidence is, I just look at things again in the simplest form. I've never done anything good in my life when my confidence was down. I never got the girl when I was young. I never closed the deal. I didn't get the money I wanted. I didn't get the partnership. And not like your confidence is in the toilet and you're pathetic with your shoulders down. I'm talking when your confidence is 5% off.
Yeah.
Did you ever go into a meeting and you know you're a little off and you're like, I'm just gonna grit my way through it, and you come out, you're like, damn, I should have just either ignored it or took a moment to build my confidence because I didn't get what I wanted. And I've just been obsessing on knowing that my confidence needs to be high at all times. So there's a million different ways to go. I love what Ed said on how to build confidence, keeping the promises you make with yourself. Incredible. One of the things I do is I really obsess on looking at the things that take my confidence. So for me, as simple as this sounds, is I haven't watched the news in 10 years. I don't watch it all. Because I've never watched the news and got down and go, wow, whew, I feel amazing.
Right.
Like, you don't watch the news and go, Ed, hey man, I watched the news this morning. Dude, you should catch it at 12.
You're not going to believe it.
You're not going to believe how amazing shit is. No, you watch the news, you're like, oh my God, right? So the news, I know this sounds crazy and we know this is simple, but I've really eliminated the people in my life, and you've heard this a million times, that rob my confidence. And I've either become, if they're family members, I'd put the Teflon up, or I've slowly pushed them out of my life. And any exercise, anything that I do that robs my confidence, the people I surround myself, exercises, like I said, don't work on your weaknesses. I've obsessed on not to do lists. So if I go, hey, when I do X, Y, Z, it robs my confidence, I don't like it, I know it's got to go out of my life. Like my threshold, confidence builder, confidence detractor. If it's a detractor, it goes on the thing that's got to go away. So I would just encourage you, think about the things, the people, the events you do, going to happy hour with the guys from work and all they do is complain about how shitty your job or your boss is or your company is. If that makes you feel bad about yourself, then they're robbing you of your bigger future. So I would say one of the things besides what Ed said is make a list of the things that ding your confidence just a little bit and either reframe them or eliminate them.
Wow, very good.
And I'll tell you a thing. As entrepreneurs, it's great when you see when someone does a post, an entrepreneur, it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh, life sucks. I'm gonna go broke. I'm losing everything. I should have never tried. Oh no, wait, I found it. Things are good. This is really good. I'm the greatest. I can't make a mistake. Oh my God, I screwed up again.
So
right? That's
true.
the life of an entrepreneur.
Yes.
But I would choose it a million times over, even with the failures. But I have to tell you, so real estate education. Right? So real estate was my life. That's what made me a millionaire in my 20s. I wrote a book, Be a Real Estate Millionaire. That book alone broke 1 million copies. And I wrote that book and launched it in 2007 when the market was crashing. Everybody was doing it the same way. I taught people on the way down, don't fix and flip, don't buy and hold. We don't know where the bottom is. Wholesale on the way down. So I taught a wholesale strategy. The book went on fire. I don't know if any other real estate book has ever sold 1 million copies, but we sold 1 million of that one. On that way down, we built a company. We probably went from 2007 to 2000, maybe 12. In that downturn, when all my competitors, literally, they were all gone. By the time we hit the bottom, they were gone. And we were a $100 million a year company and making a massive impact. And I was working hard to get more influence and all those things, right? So company's growing while everybody else is going down. So anyway, long story short, I became the #1 real estate educator on the planet. The only thing standing between you and your next level, a better version of you, not being me, not being Ed, not just a better version of you. The only thing, and you might not believe me right now, but I promise you someday you will. The only thing standing between you and your next level, a better version of you, is the story you tell yourself on why you can't get it.